Hey guys, it's Ultimate here, and this is What If Naruto Was Trained by Tobirama Part 5. Quick note before we begin the video, please make sure to sing on that like button. It really helps me make more videos like this and get them to you guys. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. So without further ado, roll the intro. Loudmouth, Naruto heard Neji mutter as they observed Team 7 enter the room. Team 7 quickly ran into the rest of the Rookie 9, and to be brutally blunt, Naruto was disappointed. None of them were particularly impressive, but at least they were better than most people here. Naruto swore as soon as he looked away from one of the random people in the room, he forgot their faces. Only one other team outside of the Rookie 9 caught Naruto's attention. A team from Suna with a crazed-looking redhead. That one's messed up in the head, Naruto thought. A pity, he practically oozes raw talent. Hey! One of the members of the Rookie 9 called. Kiba, Naruto recalled his name from reading files of the Rookie 9 previously. We're gonna beat you all! Foolish. Naruto heard Neji mutter angrily again. Relax, Neji, Naruto said, making a pacifying gesture. We'll soon see if the dog's bark is larger than his bite. Neji said nothing, but seemed to calm down, and just in time too. The Rookie 9 were huddled around some character. Straining his ears, Naruto was able to make out bits and pieces of their conversation. I wouldn't worry too much about the Sound Nin, the person the Rookie 9 were talking to. Kabuto, Naruto believed his name was. They're a relatively new village. Mistake, Naruto thought, eyes flicking over to the Sound Nin who are already in motion. The worst thing to do is to insult someone where it hurts. There was a quick scuffle in which Kabuto came out untouched, but a few seconds later, he dropped to the floor, vomiting. The Sound Nin just started gloating about how great the Sound Nin were and how they were going to absolutely sweep through the exams. Then, the proctor of the first exam arrived. Oh, and side note guys, I'm going to be skipping over the actual exams a little bit more in this What If because it doesn't really affect the entire story that much, but yeah, back to the story. Let's do this, Naruto thought. Time skip, 3 hours. The first exam wasn't terribly hard. Well, that was because all you really had to do was cheat, and Naruto was a master of sleight of hand. Luckily, he happened to be seated next to a person that looked like they knew the answers. But one curious thing about them was that they didn't actually appear to be an actual genin. Naruto had simply used the body replacement jutsu to switch their papers. He wrote his name at the top and flipped the page over. After that, there was some complaints about the 10th question when it was revealed, but Naruto mostly tuned it out. Another 5 minutes later, the second exam proctor showed up, before leading them to the second exam site. She seemed a little crazy, but who was Naruto to judge her? Anko, Naruto learned her name, had then explained the situation to them, and sent them to their individual gates. We're going after the Rookie 9 to observe them, Neji said immediately after they were out of earshot of the rest of the applicants. This caused Naruto to raise an eyebrow. Usually, Neji was the more reserved and calm-headed of the two, but it seemed like the roles had been reversed. Neji seemed agitated, but was still composed, whereas Naruto looked like he just finished taking a peaceful walk in a park someplace. But then a thought popped into Naruto's head. It's the Uchiha, isn't it? Naruto said. It all made perfect sense now. The Hyuga and the Uchiha like to refer to themselves, respectively, as the current strongest clan in Konoha. And this led to tensions between the two clans, as who was the strongest clan in Konoha, as they put it. Well, currently at least. The rivalry was not as famous as the rivalry between the Uchiha and the Senju, but it was still prevalent enough. Neji just frowned at Naruto, who laughed and responded, I don't have any problems with it. Do you, Tenten? Tenten shook her head. As of late, she had been shortening the gap in skill level between herself and her teammates, something of which she was immensely proud of. And it was a nice change. Team 9 as an overall had increased in skill, as Naruto and Neji had also upped their training because of Tenten's rapid increase in skill. We'll observe only, Neji said before taking off into the forest as their gate opened. Naruto sighed and softly muttered, as if most of our plans actually go according to plan. Time skip. 5 hours. I was right, Naruto thought, as he and the rest of Team 9 watched as a kid who bore an unsettlingly strange resemblance to Guy Sensei being absolutely bodied by the 3 sound nen. We should help him, Naruto finally said. No, Neji responded. You heard his declaration earlier when he loudly proclaimed himself as the second strongest genin in the leaf. If he's so strong that he should be able to beat him, or rather them, Neji said, referring to not only Rock Lee's opponent, but the other 2 soundmen that were hanging back. He doesn't even know how they're attacking him. The answer is literally in their name. Sound. Maybe they just had a bad time before we found them, Naruto said. But anyways, I'm gonna go help him. If only to see how well he and his team do in the later stages anyway. Neji just made a tisking sound as Naruto started to perform some hand seals. Dancing Dragon, Oceanic Slipstream, Naruto muttered before jumping down. The Dancing Dragon Oceanic Slipstream was a jutsu Naruto had created in order to combat Tenten's new proficiency in Earth-style jutsu. It was basically a very dense cloak of water that surrounded Naruto and made it almost every physical attack slide off. However, this came at a cost. The cloak was almost too good at making things slide off, to the point where even sound slid off of it. This of course meant that while the cloak was active, Naruto was effectively deaf. In addition, Naruto also couldn't physically attack before recovering. Naruto couldn't also physically attack while the cloak was active, so he had to uncover his fist for a split second to punch something before recovering it. However, despite the jutsu's many weaknesses, it was extremely useful as even some Earth-style ninjutsu would slide off. Landing in front of the kid, Rock Lee, Naruto idly recalled, Naruto pushed him out of the way as 2 streams of amplified sound slammed into him and slid right off. Naruto allowed himself a brief smirk before blitzing forward. His opponent tried blasting him again and again with sound, but everything just slipped off. Ducking under his arm, Naruto delivered a swift chop to the back of the sound ninja's neck. Turning around and letting his water cloak drop, Naruto raised an eyebrow in surprise. The other 2 sound nin were unconscious, with Neji and Tenten standing over them victoriously. A groaning sound made all 3 of their heads snap to the left where Rock Lee was unconscious on the floor, and Sasuke was surrounded by a healthy, or rather unhealthy amount of killing intent. Sakura, the 3rd member of Team 7, was trying to get him to calm down, but failing at it and completely ignoring the very hurt and unconscious Rock Lee 20 feet away. Well, time to go. You're welcome, Naruto said before he and the rest of Team 9 vanished, leaving an annoyed Sasuke, panicked Sakura, and unconscious Lee behind. Time skip, 5 days, preliminaries, halfway through the matches. Next fight, Hayate called, coughing violently. Naruto Uzumaki versus Sabaku no Gaara. Naruto walked down to the arena, a calm expression on his face. He saw a few concerned expressions shot his way, but he brushed them off. When he got to the arena, Naruto faced off against Gaara as Hayate was about to start the match. Gaara seems like the ready, fire, aim type of guy, so I'll immediately activate Oceanic Slipstream to dodge anything he sends at me, Naruto thought. Start, Hayate called. Immediately, Gaara's sand blitzed towards Naruto, surrounding him and squeezing down. Then the sand started to get soaked from the inside, before it burst at the top and Naruto popped out, racing towards Gaara. I'll have to end this quickly, Naruto thought, before his hand blazed up, gold flames igniting at the fingertips of the fingers on his right hand. This was something that Tobirama had shown him, a sealing jutsu that would mess up the chakra pathway. Naruto had no idea how it works against a Jinchuriki. After all, they had 2 chakra pathways, or rather, chakra reservoirs. It could backfire spectacularly, but it was his only shot at ending this quickly. Naruto then tried to blitz past the sand, but it was faster than it appeared. Sighing, Naruto let the Fuinjutsu fade before going through some hand seals and ending on the dog hand seal. Naruto jumped into the air and spat out a stream of water that was pulled towards his palm, forming a giant whirlpool. Crusading Dragon, Max Whirpool, was all that Naruto said before hurling it at Gaara. The gallons of water completely soaked Gaara's sand, making it sluggish and heavy, and the swirling force behind the whirlpool scattered his sand all across the floor. The golden flames then reignited on Naruto's hand, as Naruto once more rushed at Gaara. As soon as his hand made contact with Gaara's stomach, and Naruto felt the seal, the Fuinjutsu seal reinforced the one already on the Gaara, pushing back and further locking in the Ichibi, did he allow himself a small smirk. It's a good thing Gaara is kind of arrogant, elsewise he wouldn't have let himself be so wide open, Naruto thought, as Gaara dropped to the ground. If Gaara hadn't left that opening, this would have been a much harder fight. In fact, I'm not sure I could have won at all. The Sandin all looked shocked and slightly panicked, but after Gaara did not get back up, they truly looked terrified. Winner of the match by knockout, Naruto Uzumaki, Haite called as Naruto walked back to the arena. Naruto smiled as he ascended the stairs towards where his team was. Time skip. Later that day, nighttime. Naruto woke up to loud explosions and raced to his window to see what was causing the loud noises. What shocked him was on top of the Hokage building, there was what looked to be a purple Fuinjutsu seal barrier. Fuinjutsu, Naruto thought. Be safe, old man, if you're in there. On top of the Hokage building, Hiruzen versus opponents. Why won't you die, old man? Orochimaru snarled, taking another swing at Hiruzen with the Kusanagi. Hiruzen somersaulted over the blade, twisting in midair to dodge a couple of vacuum bullets from his other opponent, Danzo. Everything had been going perfectly normal until a visitor walked in, around half an hour ago. They just stared at Hiruzen until he started to get uncomfortable. Then, they reached up to their face and pulled off a skin-like mask, revealing snake-like features underneath. Hiruzen had jumped up from his desk, but reacted too late as he was trapped in a ceiling barrier with Orochimaru. Then, a red eye snapped open the darkness of the night, and out walked Danzo. Honestly, Hiruzen should have expected this. He tried to be optimistic and believe in Danzo, but it failed miserably, leading to a half-an-hour fight, which in turn brought him to the present. Landing lightly, Hiruzen's hands flew into hand seals at a rate so fast they appeared to be a blur. Just giving up now would be an insult to everything the Hokage position stands for. Now I let you go once, Orochimaru. It won't happen again. And the same goes for you, Danzo. Neither of you will live to see the morning sun. Do you want to know why? Why your plan was doomed to fail from the beginning, Hiruzen said, taking deeper and deeper breaths, saturating his blood with oxygen. Because a will to protect is not something that is so easily broken. This is the one jutsu you'll never be able to use, Orochimaru. A jutsu that combines the will of everyone in the leaf into one. One will to protect the leaf at any cost. So with this breath, become ash. This is Yin-Yang release. Will of fire. As soon as Hiruzen finished, his hands landed in the final hand seal, Tiger. Then, Hiruzen could feel every single person wishing for him to continue on and win. Each of them like a small candle. But together they were a roaring wildfire. He breathed in one more time, and his lungs started to build up chakra in them. Then Hiruzen breathed out, and as the chakra crossed his lips, it ignited into flames. The fire was so many colors: blue, red, yellow, purple, green, and white, all twisting and mixing in the massive blaze that rushed past Hiruzen's lips. Both Danzo and Orochimaru released water-style ninjutsu to try and combat the flames, but they could only slow the flames down slightly. Hiruzen's skin then started to itch as Senjutsu chakra rushed into his body, only to be swept up and expelled as part of the flames. With the sudden addition of Sage chakra, the blaze transformed into an inferno. Inside the flames, Danzo tried activating his Nagi again and again, but each time he reformed, Those blasted flames consumed him. Danzo tried again, only to realize that all his Sharingan were now blind. He had reached his limit. Damn you, Hiruzen, Danzo thought bitterly, as he was burned yet again, this time, not being able to write it off as an illusion with Izanagi. With Orochimaru, he used his Orochimaru-style body replacement again and again to try and escape the flames, but nothing worked. As a last-ditch effort, he turned into his 8-headed snake form, but that too was consumed by the flames. Damn you, Hiruzen, Orochimaru thought, as he too was burned to ash. Across the world, in Orochimaru's various bases, his curse marks went up in flames, slightly harming the user, but not permanently. Then, Hiruzen ended the flames. His chakra pathway system ached from using the jutsu, but he was victorious. He looked up to see the forms of Danzo and Orochimaru fade away into ash. I have done it, and now those who wish ill will against the leaf, don't so readily underestimate the will of fire. And with that, Hiruzen fell to the floor, and the barrier fell down. Hiruzen's Anbu guard rushed towards him, checking to make sure he was alright. And far away from this, at Naruto's apartment, Naruto breathed a sigh as he saw that everything was relatively okay. I'm glad you're safe, old man, Naruto thought. You did us all proud. This was a thought shared by almost every Leaf Shinobi, as the man known as the Professor beat the Sannin, the Rogue Sannin, and the Old War Crone. Anyway guys, thanks for listening, I'll see you guys next time.